My name is Kay and I'm a guide at the Williamson Tunnels. I've been here since September 2002 and it's obviously a very interesting place, and of course we find a lot of people coming in and seeing what Joseph Williamson's all about. That why would a man want to do something like this? But this man was not a fool. He came from Wellington at the age of 11 and he lodged with a Mr. Tate, no relation to Tate and Lyle. They were tobacco and snuff merchants. And obviously he did very well in the company because by the time Mr. Tate had died, he'd actually taken over the business, and he also had one running alongside of it, a very, very wealthy man. He sold the businesses, and by 1818 he'd actually retired from the businesses, and he started building his tunnels. Now, you know, you've got to ask yourself, well, why would a man start suddenly doing things like that? Because he was a very, very wealthy man. He was certainly his own man. But then again, he was building his houses on just at the back here. This had been an open cast quarry, so he would have been reclaiming the land. So that would have been a cheap way of getting things. And also, he was employing men. There's even a story that one day he was rebuked for not putting any money in the pot. And whoever this person was, he said, "I'll show you what I'm doing." He took this particular person who'd made the comment to one of the sites. He blew a whistle and all these people popped up. He said, "I'm giving them the dignity of work." It's an incredible story, and obviously the more we delve into it, the more it opens up to us. And even I, after 4 years and having many tours, can still find something new every day. The actual tunnels themselves are the original ones. They have never been altered in any way. Obviously there's been a certain amount of repair going on, but basically these are the actual ones that Joseph Williamson actually built. If we want to start walking through here, these are some of the things that have been found on the site. The diggers are incredible. They will find a piece one day, and maybe a week or 2 weeks later, they will actually find another piece. None of these things here are earlier than Victorian times, but it's always a joy to get these things back because it gives us a little insight into the way they were. Every one of these bricks here are handmade, every single one. Not just, he didn't pick up a phone and say, "Oh, I'm going to have two lorry loads." Every one was absolutely handmade, and they would have made them from March to September, and then, or March to October rather, and then from November to February they would dig out the clay, wait for the winter to break down and everything, and then they would have started again. So there would have been a hive of industry all around. This man just didn't keep a few people working. He must have had hundreds and hundreds of people here, and at a time when the actual mortality rate was horrendous, he must have been an absolute godsend. And the fact that he never left any information about us, which is very frustrating to us, because a James Stonehouse came in a couple of years after and he actually mapped over 32 tunnels, and he spoke about him, and of course he only spoke about him second hand because he himself had never met him, and of course he was speaking to people who had their own opinions on him, so some opinions were good, some opinions were not so good, but that's the only thing we've got of Joseph Williamson. He said it wasn't a circus and he wasn't a circus master, and he didn't particularly like people coming down, only the people that he wanted. I don't think he was a particularly secretive man, I just think he was his own man, and he was a very, very rich man. And of course the more we open these tunnels up, the more the secrets start to actually come out. And that is the magic, because as I said to you before, and I do say it on tours, and I do genuinely mean it, he certainly must have saved hundreds of people's lives here, because he was providing work for them, and half the time it would be futile work. It would be basically scoring out walls, you know, which is very, very futile, because he certainly wasn't making any money on it. Sometimes when it's finished and the day's done and I walk in here on my own and I think, how lucky can anybody be to be working somewhere like this? You know, it's because I get such a kick out of it, because I'm proud of my own city, you know. And it's, I really do. And I like showing people things. I like to be able to, you know, no, they can basically take what they want out of it. That's their choice. But I just think it's nice for people to know about it, because it's so important just to keep our heritage alive.